NASCAR Xfinity Series race has officially concluded from Sonoma Raceway, and Connor Zilisch holds off Shane Van Gisbergen and wins his third race of 2025 in an incredible duel against Shane Van Gisbergen. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Xfinity Series race from Sonoma Raceway. We got a lot to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So let's begin by talking about the top two drivers of this race, that being Connor Zilisch and Shane Van Gisbergen. These two were the class of the field all day long. They had the two fastest cars without question, especially from qualifying. Shane Van Gisbergen would get the lead early in the event, would actually get the lead for the first couple of laps, but then Connor Zilisch made a really big dive bomb to the outside of SVG, and he was able to get the race lead. But then a couple laps later in the run, Shane Van Gisbergen got a really good run on Connor Zilisch, and he got the race lead back, and then Connor Zilisch stayed with him early. But the first moment where Shane Van Gisbergen would lose control of this race was during the pit stops. The pit crew wasn't as good for Shane Van Gisbergen as it was for Zilisch. Zilisch got off pit road early, and Shane Van Gisbergen would drop to second position at that point. That would mean Connor Zilisch would have a little bit of a lead over Shane Van Gisbergen. Meanwhile, some guys have set out to try to play some strategy, and I can't remember who won stage number one, but everyone, I think it might have been Brandon Jones. Actually, Sam Mayer would come off the corner and win stage number one. Stage number two would get back going. These two once again be on the front row, and they both put on a really fantastic and really good show once again, battling side by side, beating and banging for the race lead. Eventually, as the run progressed and went on, though, Connor Zilisch's car, especially on a long run, was getting better and was really, really good. He got a really good run on Shane Van Gisbergen and was able to take the race lead back. Shane would start, unfortunately, losing a ton of ground at this point. The rears were fortunately going off on Shane Van Gisbergen's car and started fading back quite a bit. That meant Connor Zilisch had the opportunity to start pulling away from the rest of the field. And then everyone would come down pit road that was trying to basically come in, because if you basically come down pit road at the end of these stages, you can get yourself some extra points. Connor got a real opportunity to come down pit road. Shane, unfortunately, will once again have not the best pit stop and would lose a ton of ground on pit road, but would come out second on the final restart of the race, because there would be no cautions for incident on the racetrack throughout the day. On the final restart, Connor Zilisch and Shane Van Gisbergen would battle for a little bit, but then Connor got the race lead. But you had a couple guys that were coming up. Shane Van Gisbergen, of course, William Swalch, and Nick Sanchez were maintaining track position at this point as they were trying to make it to the checker flag on fuel. Fuel was definitely a little bit of a concern and a big question for sure near the end of this race. But with about 15 laps to go, they started going at it and they started pulling away from William Swalch. And Shane would stay really, really close to Connor. There would be ebbs and flows throughout the run. Connor would get away a little bit, and then Shane Van Gisbergen would lose a little bit of ground. Then Shane would get a big ground on him, and then Connor got the opportunity to pull away once again. But around 6 or 7 laps to go in the event, Shane Van Gisbergen really started putting on the charge. He would gain over a second within 2 laps and would catch Connor with around 5 laps to go in the event. And at this point, these two would continue putting on a really good show as Shane would try to make opportunities to the inside, to the outside, but did get into him a little bit, but never wanted to bump him completely out of the way to get the race lead. They battle back and forth for the race lead, coming to the final laps of this event with 2 laps to go. There'd be a little bit of contact. Shane would get in the back of Connor, move him up the racetrack a little bit, but Connor hangs on and holds him off at that point. Shane tries to make another run, coming to the white flag of the event. There's more contact, beating and banging, and moves him up the track a little bit. Shane tries to make the move, but lets Connor have the position back, and as they come to the white flag of the event, Connor Zilisch has about a half a second lead and starts gaining a little bit of ground on Shane. And going up through the S's, Shane would gain a ton of ground and would get the chance and opportunity. There'll be a little bit of contact. They battle going into turn number 7, and Shane is not able to get by Connor Zilisch. And coming to the final corners of the event, Connor would hold off a hard-charging Shane Van Gisbergen, who would try everything he could, but couldn't get there. Connor comes off the final corner and is able to pick up his 3rd Xfinity Series win of 2025 and his 4th career NASCAR Xfinity Series win. What an absolute incredible battle between Connor Zilisch and Shane Van Gisbergen. These two guys put on absolutely amazing and a really, really good show all day long. These were the 2 fastest cars without question in the event, and whoever got control of this race was most likely going to win this event. But they've both raced each other hard, raced each other clean. This felt very similar between the battle between Shane Van Gisbergen and Kyle Larson last year at Chicago. It was just an ultimate duel. It was so fun to watch. It made this race more enjoyable than it probably was for a lot of other their fans, but these two you knew were going to be the favorites going in, and both these guys put on a great show. And I said this on X and Twitter, but I cannot wait for these two guys to get into the Cup Series next year and race against each other on road courses, because I think Connor's going to be contending for wins on road courses for years to come. But nonetheless, congratulations, Connor Zilisch, on picking up the win. He had a lot of respect, showed a lot of class at SVG, which I think they both showed a lot of class as well, and I can't wait for these guys to race against each other. This is a big win for Connor, holding off the best road course racer in NASCAR today, gets his third win of the year. Connor's going to win a lot of road races in his Cup Series career, but to hold off Shane Van Gisbergen duel, it was absolutely phenomenal to watch. Congrats to Connor on picking up the win. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the race results and again my score and thoughts on today's race. So Connor Zilisch picks up the win. Shane Van Gisbergen finishes second. Shane Van Gisbergen had a really good car, but unfortunately the rear tires just really weren't working for him this weekend. Unfortunately, he just didn't have the tires under him to get the chance and opportunity to pick up the win. But still a really great day for Shane, all things considered. Led the second most laps of the event. He was Connor's biggest threat all day. Gave Connor a run for the money all day long. Great run for Shane. He finished second. William Swalsh finished third. Want to give him a shout out for a second because William Swalsh today had his best run he's ever had in NASCAR Xfinity Series competition. He ran in the top 5 and top 10 all day long. Showed some really, really good speed. Got some stage points, I believe, in today's race as well, and gets a really awesome top 5 finish in third. Great run for William Swalsh. Nick Sanchez finishes fourth. Continues to build a lot of momentum. I think that's the 4th or 5th top 10 in a row for Nick Sanchez. This 48 team is looking incredibly strong throughout the second half of the season. They're getting better. He looks for a second win next week at Dover. Great run for Nick in fourth. Riley Herbst finished fifth. Never was a factor all day long, but kept quiet, played the strategy all day, and gets a really solid top 5 finish in fifth. Justin Allgaier finishes 6th. About time the 17 gets a good finish. His team has had a lot of unfortunate inconsistency as of recent weeks. Not enough to get up there, though, but was still a really good day for Justin Allgaier. He finishes in 6th. Taylor Gray finished 11th, solid top 10, and 7th, solid top 10 run for Taylor Gray to finish inside the top 10. This 54 teams had a lot more speed as of late, so good to see Taylor Gray finish in the top 10. Carson Quahl finished 8th, had top 5 to top 10 speed all day, ran their majority of the event, and gets a really strong finish. Great run for Carson Quahl. Sammy Smith finishes 9th. How about this? All the junior motorsports cars finish inside the top 9. That's like the second time it's happened at this point. Good run for Sammy Smith in 9th, and Sheldon Creed finishes 10th. I expected more from Creed, to be honest. I thought Creed was going to be a top 5 contender, but just didn't have the pace and speed to contend for the win at all today. Not a great run for him contend on road courses, but still a decent day, all things considered. Austin Green finished 11th, another top 15 run. This guy got spun early in the race on lap number 1 of the event, and he salvaged a solid top 15 finish in 11th place. Really good run for Austin Green. Austin Hill finished 12th. There'll be some controversy between him and Corey Day. He got run off the track a little bit by Corey Day, but he kind of just retaliated. I guess he didn't have any room at that point, but Hill, still not learning from his ways, got into Corey Day, spun him out, and because of that, Corey Day finishes like 30th, and Austin Hill finishes 12th. I expected Hill to run a lot better anyways today, but the car just wasn't good for Austin Hill. A big struggle. He finishes back in 12th. Brandon Jones finished 13th. He did win a stage in this race, but he just didn't have the pace and speed all day to be a major factor. He finished 13th. Josh Blicky finished 14th despite causing one of the incidents today. He does get a solid top 15. Josh Williams finished in 15th. Will Rogers, who was doing his first Xfinity race in quite some time, he finished 16th. Had Eric Jones as spotter today. Solid run for Will Rogers in 16th. Sam Mayer finished 17th. I think Sam Mayer had a top 5 car, but he got trapped in the back of the pack and just never got the chance and opportunity to get up there and contend for the overall win. He just never got a shot. He finished in 17th. Dean Thompson finished 18th. Blaine Perkins finished in 19th. Jeb Byrne finished in 20th. Harrison Byrne, who got spun near the end of the race, finished 21st. Brendan Poole finished 22nd. Anthony Alfredo finished 23rd. Corey Day finished 24th. He had a really good run running inside the top 10, top 15 area most of the day, but nothing to show for it because he got spun by Austin Hill at the end. A tough way to end what was a really good race for Corey Day. He's been getting better recently, but just not a good finish overall. He finished 24th. Kyle Seek finished 25th. Matt DiBenedetto finished 26th. Ryan Ellis finished 27th. Parker Retzlaff finished 28th. Chris Wright finished 29th, who spun out at one point. The weekly Chris Wright crash. Jeremy Clemens finished in 30th. Brad Perez finished 31st. Daniel Dye finished 32nd. Connor Mosack finished 33rd. Christian Eckes, who had a ton of damage on the car, he finished in 34th. Ryan Seek finished 35th. Sage Karaman fell out of the race, finished in 36th position. 37th place finish today goes to Alex Abay, and finishing last in 38th was Jesse Love. Jesse Love had a top 5 car early, but unfortunately, I think the rear track bar, something on the back of the car broke for them, and unfortunately, his day would come to a close. He would finish last in this race. So now, let's talk about the overall race as a whole. I'll give my score and thoughts on today's race. Generally, the racing behind the top two, I gotta say, was fun to watch for sure, but it wasn't absolutely spectacular. But I will say this race for me, for Sonoma standards, I actually really enjoyed it, especially because you had a really compelling battle all day long between Connor Zilisch and Shane Van Gisbergen. You really never knew which one of these guys was going to go out there and pick up the win and pick up the victory. And I think both these guys did an absolutely amazing and incredible job all day long. They put on a really good show. It was a fun product to watch. My score for today's NASCAR Xfinity Series race is going to be around an 8 out of 10. Actually, an 8.5 to 9 out of 10. I thought it was actually that good of a race. You had a really fun and compelling finish all day long. I think for Xfinity standards, this is by far the best Sonoma race we've seen for Xfinity. And I'll tell you what, the Xfinity Series at road courses this year has been absolutely a bunch of barn burners this season. They had a really good race today. I'm not sure how the Cup race is going to be tomorrow, but I really enjoyed today's race. My score is going to be a 9 out of 10. So, that is going to be for the NASCAR Xfinity Series race review from Sonoma. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Notifications on so you notify when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me through Facebook and Instagram and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's race. What are your thoughts on today's race? Let me know below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And congratulate Connor Zilisch on picking up the win in today's race. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to have the starting lineup video for the NASCAR Cup Series race at Sonoma Raceway. And then, of course, we are going to have the Cup Series race review as well. Then on Monday, we'll have a NASCAR news. We'll talk about a potential rumor around Carson Quaffle, around him and Penske. That's a rumor that I saw recently. And I'll also talk about some Daniel Suarez stuff once again and talk about the lawsuit once again. We got content coming on people like Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Cards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, Cletus Savard, Dodge Ram, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed, Brock Feeney, Will Brown, Cam Waters, you name it, Jack Perkins, all the good stuff we talk about on the channel in the coming days and weeks. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content, other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.